Environmental groups say pesticides can be carcinogenic, harm our nervous systems, and alter our hormones. But statistics show the vast majority of fruits and vegetables that do contain pesticide residue have only tiny, trace amounts allowed by the government.
Some fruits and vegetables can have 9 different pesticides on a single serving.
Would you accept a job that pays $11,000 a year and there's a slight risk that you might get cancer from it?
No.
Caitlin, what did you eat for breakfast today?
Almonds and walnuts.
Do you know who grew those almonds and walnuts?
No.
Do you know any agricultural workers or people that work on farms?
Nope.
The questions revealed, though we eat 3 or more meals a day, few people know where their food comes from, the workers involved, or the pesticides applied. We're here to talk about pesticide use and the protections farmers receive in the United States.
Agriculture in general produces greenhouse gases and is taking over land by deforestation. Also, runoff from farming areas are polluting surface water and underground aquifers, so pesticide use is becoming a tremendous issue to the environment as well as the people handling it.
Pesticides are highly toxic, persistent, and capable of traveling through the air. And because of this, chemical residues can build up to harmful levels in the environment, and some can take years to break down completely. Some of the most dangerous are called organophosphates, which can cause dizziness, confusion, vomiting, convulsions, numbness, and sometimes death.
In 2007 alone, the U.S. bought 32% of the world's pesticide supply, $12.5 billion worth. Increased pesticide use is a trend documented by the EPA across all sectors. Though this may lead to increased yield and profits, there are severe side effects for farm workers. Would you accept a job that pays below the poverty level and could cause asthma, rashes, or even cancer? Acute symptoms can include these, as well as tearing, rashes, and headaches, while chronic symptoms can include organ damage and developmental and reproductive defects. Increased pesticide use comes with a cost.
Hi, I'm going to be talking to Mr. Patel, a representative from the EPA, about pesticides. So, are there any policies that control the use of pesticides?
Yes, there are. There are certain agencies that control the use of pesticides, such as EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and USDA. But the problem with us is, it makes me sad to say this, but it only protects almost 2.5 million workers in this country. But there are also workers that are undocumented who go through this deadly process. But yes, there are policies that protect certain workers.
Right. So are there certain guidelines that owners of farms have to implement when they have those workers working for them?
Yes. Well, so for example, if the new pesticide is discovered or made, pesticides are tested through the EPA and they get approved. Once they're approved, it's not, just go out and use it, but there is certain guidelines that they have to follow, and that is such as EPA has a high tolerance level, so you can only have certain amount of residues on a plant. It's like there's a maximum. They'll be tested by EPA officials, and if you go over, you get fined or etc. And there's other penalties. But yes, there are guidelines. You just don't go out and spray.
Right. Okay, so how are these pesticides approved or tested, like you were talking about?
I say it's the best system we have so far, but the only way we can test is we have animal testing, which is we take one chemical, it's just one chemical, a single chemical, and apply in high dosages and see the side effects of the pesticide. But humans, when they work on a farm, they go through different kind of chemicals in certain, amount. I don't say high dosage, but there's multiple chemicals, concerning, and there will be different side effects. So we haven't mastered it, but this is the best we can see right now.
And then we're going to be eating those foods that have multiple chemicals.
Yes, so overall, it has perks and bad stuff.
What are the major stakeholders involved with pesticides and farm workers?
Obviously there's the USDA, the EPA, and the FDA, which are all major agencies that deal with agriculture in the U.S. But there are also
unions like the United Farm Workers of America that try to raise money for farmers, and a number of others. But I think it's important to mention that it's not just these big name agencies that everyone's heard about. Truly the biggest stakeholders are the farmers that make a living on growing food, the people that eat the food, and the industries that deliver food to the people, such as Publix or Trader Joe's. And when there are issues with food, people don't buy it, and everyone down that line suffers. So it's important to note that everyone feels the impacts because everyone eats food.
Are there any specific controversial issues dealing with pesticides, farm workers, and the stakeholders?
Yes, actually, the pesticide warning labels are not required to be printed in Spanish, and actually 8 out of 10 farm workers are foreign, and most of them are from Mexico. So those farm workers can't even read the labels on the pesticides.